Hey, it's Debbie, and I am having a part two episode with Zulia Frost in Barcelona. And she and I are going to dive into the research on red light therapy and new science, as I'm curious to get her take on using red light therapy as FlexBeam on your thyroid, on your liver, on your small intestine, your stomach. So, what can we do to improve our aging process from the inside out using red light therapy and near infrared? So, we are going to dive into new science and understand how and when and why to use red light therapy as a FlexBeam. Plus, FlexBeam is on sale right now. So make sure if you're listening to this around November that you can save on the Black Friday specials are starting earlier and earlier every year. But for sure, you can use my code Coach Debbie Potts and save on your own FlexBeam red light therapy. I didn't bring it up here to use in the recording, so hopefully we can have a demo from Zulia, but I use my FlexBeam every night and lay it actually on my belly. If I have an injury, I tweaked my back the other week and I placed it on my lower back and it felt so much better. I was trying to be strong and lift a pot of dirt with rocks on top of it upstairs in our backyard here, and then was doing pretty good. And then I twisted to lower it down and tweak my back. But I used that flex beam on it right afterwards and my biomat and felt so much better in a couple days. And also looking at the benefits, but also how do you know it's working or not? And how can we test and see if we have improvements using red light therapy? So let's bring on Zulia and talk science on red light therapy and mitochondria. All right, I have Zulia to share with us the science on red light therapy. Red light therapy specifically using FlexBeam is my favorite. And we are just going to dive into the newest updates because I keep hearing more and more benefits of red light therapy near infrared. So, Zulia, you're the expert. Thanks for coming back on the podcast to discuss scientific evidence to prove that this actually does something.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Debbie, for having me here. I'm always very excited to interact and share my knowledge. So I look forward to our podcast today.
Yeah, well, you always have your thumb on cutting edge new research because you work for Recharge Health FlexBeam, and really what we talk about here is what we can do in middle age to be our best self in the future. So as we hit 40s and our 50s, I'm trying to get everyone to realize I need to be investing in my health for my 80s and not just putting money away in your 401k, wherever you're investing your money, but investing in your health. Because if you have all the money you have for retirement to live okay, but what if your health isn't there? And I think we need to pay more attention to what we're doing now to be even more resilient as we age.
Absolutely. I cannot agree more because what I realized also recently that if you don't have health, then you can't do your favorite activities. And for me, I had quite testing time earlier this year, but I overcame my issue. And man, it's so good to be back to health. It's so good to
Mm,
be able to get up and run, not feeling tired, fatigue, and
mhm.
not feel, being able to eat and drink whatever you like. That is another thing, because if you
Yeah.
start restricting yourself, then you can't do much. And generally speaking, to my understanding today, aging it's a process. It's almost like disease. You have to also treat and address it. And if you do something now, you address preventatively, so you don't get ill with age. You don't look like horrible. You don't uh, feel and horrible as well.
Yes. And you're still in Barcelona. That I think that you look at European lifestyles and compare that to people in the North America region that we might not be as active and outside and getting that sunlight, which is obviously I'm in my glass house, which is all glass. So I'm getting that morning sunlight and outdoor nature all day long. But I moved from Seattle, the Pacific Northwest, where half the year it's kind of gray and cloudy and misty rain. And now I'm living in a place I'm getting sunlight and I'm spending so much more time outdoor nature. What do you find is important as we age to improve health with time in nature and sunlight?
Well, you absolutely hit the nail on the head with this because I have this similar experience because I lived in the UK for
Mhm.
25 years. And 25 years we skip in summers. We don't have sunlight and we're
Yeah.
so far north. So coming to live in Barcelona where it's a sunshine and it's outdoor culture. You know, people
Mm.
cycle here during the week and weekend and it's brilliant. But what is exactly aging? The aging starts in mitochondria, the energy organelle in the cell. And when we start declining to making this mitochondria and losing the potency and functionality of mitochondria, that's the aging starts. And when you don't have enough sunlight, guess what's happening? It affects your mitochondria, it affects your energy level, and it's a cascade effect on the whole of the body.
So is it more so how we age, we need to focus on the mitochondria?
Absolutely. The number one thing what you could do to prevent you aging is to look after your mitochondria. And the mitochondria is the organelle which literally make energy in every cell of your body. It's not like selectively in the brain, selectively in the muscle. Literally every single cell in the body needs it. And if there is no function in mitochondria in the cell dies
Mm.
instantly, cannot even live 1 second, it dies at once. So it's also very sensitive to external elements and toxins. Like say we now exposed to all sorts of electromagnetic radiation. You talk literally from Wi-Fi to radio, the microwaves, everything. It literally smashing. And do you know foods affecting mitochondria, antibiotics affecting mitochondria,
Mm.
even antidepressants. They
Wow.
literally hammering mitochondria. So if you don't look after it, you literally gonna decline very quickly.
Wow. Yeah. And I see how many people are on different medications as antidepressants. They're just given out so easily, not just for, I know I just talked to my friend yesterday who has a family member that needs some support, but then there's others, they're just not needing antidepressants, and people don't realize the side effects of all these different medications on your mitochondria. Poor.
Uh, I did my research. I actually looked, and the majority of medication which we use daily, including, statins, yes, something which people so used to, beta blockers, they prescribe them like this. But really, people should be aware they all affecting mitochondria and affecting your gut microbiota. A
Mhm.
combination of both, if you have decline in both, make people ill. And we see the burst of autoimmune diseases nowadays. So
Mm-hmm.
this is
Yeah,
all
this statin
yeah.
drugs is another. I've been wanting to do a whole episode on that because that's another medication that's given out so easily, and how it impacts your mitochondria. As they always say, if you take statins, you need to have CoQ10 and support your mitochondria. But so many people are given these medications. Then I look at their labs, and I'm getting off track, but just want to add in, you see their cholesterol, total cholesterol being pushed down so low. And then we get other problems because you still need all the lipids in the right balance. So it's just interesting how, we're not looking at real ways to heal, as we're talking today specifically about red light therapy and near-infrared, that it is something we can do and just a part of nature, and how we can course correct to improve our health at a cellular level, just using a simple light device. So how can red light help our mitochondria, and why should that matter?
It's fundamental for mitochondria. And what you could do when you're exposed to light, uh, somebody who studied biochemistry would know in the respiratory chain, the fourth stage of respiratory chain involves cytochrome C oxidase. It's an enzyme which actually pigment. And so it absorbs the photons. And when it absorbs the photons, it's a chain of effects happening. Number one, the cell will be, cytochrome C oxidase bind with oxygen better. So you have oxygenation effect on the body. And then it displaces nitric oxide, which then improves the local blood flow and brings more oxygen and nutrients to this cell. And also it would produce cellular protective reactions again, protection from oxidative stress. Remember this also aspect of aging. The cells become packed with oxidative molecules. And so in one aspect, and it also recharges the cell. Like the battery of the cell gets more of the electron flow. It's all happened just like one single photon kicks in, and it's a cascade of reactions. Then on the top of it, if you stimulate with light, particularly red and infrared light, you increase number of functioning mitochondria. It's called a mitochondrial biogenesis. So, as you know, as a human being, when we age, we decline in number of these mitochondria too. So, if it is exposed to light, natural sunlight, or through devices, we start building up, rebuilding that fundamental energy molecule in the body.
Yeah. And I find, as people age, I've listened to some podcasts and how people, as they get older, they're staying inside more, and especially people in nursing homes. I was listening to something, you never think of that as people age, they get put in these different homes and they're not exposed to natural sunlight at all. So it's almost that they need to have red light therapy walls in their retirement homes and help people that way. So let's get into the FlexBeam. If you can show, I saw you had yours. I didn't bring mine up to my office, but so FlexBeam, how is it? This kind of review, we had part one earlier this year, but tell us a little bit rundown of how the FlexBeam works with the 3 different levels.
Yes, here's my FlexBeam, and it consists of 3 modules which generate light, each of them red and infrared lights. So you could see this, like they call them cooling sinks, or they distribute heat. This can happen only when the light is really, really, really potent. So the light which comes out of these modules are really strong. And also you notice I've got the control unit, yes, and like you mentioned, 3 programs here. But first of all, you can see it's flexible, so you can use it comes with the straps, and you can put it on your back, on the back of your neck, and you can put around the joints. And that is very important because when you do it around the joints, it gives you 3-dimensional beaming. So you deliver energy deep inside the body from 3 angles. This is like fundamental efficiency increases because you probably know if you compare it with panels, which are fantastic as well, red light therapy tools, but panels you can't put on the body and wrap around your joint, right?
Yeah.
It's not possible. So it does. And we have also the way to deliver energy by changing 3 programs. And these 3 programs will be to say, to treat superficial area, get a little bit deeper, and get really deep in the body. So we can target by placing in the right place. So we focus in this energy in the right place. And then we even target by the delivery. Because if you have some skin issues, or you even want to improve your skin tone and everything, You need to use program one because it's very superficial. But if you start using program one and you've got sciatica pain or, deep in the knee, like meniscus injury, whatever, you really need to get through the tissues and deliver energy there. You need program three, the deepest one. And if you have like small arthritis in the joints or Achilles tendon issues, then use program two because these are very superficial, talking about small joints. So it's designed in 10 minutes to function, to deliver dose, and it's very easy. You can wait whilst you do some other stuff.
Yeah. Well, what I found is I was curious, and this is what kind of brought me to doing this podcast is putting it on my belly. So when I'm watching a little bit of TV at night to wind down and get my brain to shut off, might watch something, and I put my FlexBeam, I put my red light mask on that I have from a different company, but then I put the FlexBeam over my belly, then over my liver, and I've read research on the thyroid, but what can it do something for putting it on my belly? Am I doing anything? It just feels good, but I didn't know if it actually did anything at the time when I started just intuitively placing it on my midsection.
You are absolutely right. You're absolutely on the spot with this because what recent science telling us, and I follow the researcher Anne Liebert, and she is absolutely brilliant. So the group of researchers found there is a link between dysbiosis in the gut and appearance of the autoimmune disorders with thyroid gland. And covers not just Hashimoto, it covers also goiter, all the excess or deficiency in functioning of the thyroid gland, both. You're absolutely right to place it on the stomach first, and I would place it vertical and horizontal.
Mm.
And like you, this is part of my routine. And it does so many things. So number one, if you put it on the gut, it's going to stimulate the gut lining, so you
Mm.
have much better reabsorption of nutrients in the body.
Wow.
You energize the cells. You
Mm-hmm.
also you relax muscles, and peristalsis is very important. It
Mm.
gives really important role into the digestion and absorption of the food. And also, remember, the vagus nerve from nervous system also runs in the stomach and nervate in the stomach. So you have impact on the relaxation, nervous system relaxation. But the also most people don't realize, but between there is a link. We call it gut brain.
Mhm.
So because of neurotransmitters are formulated in the gut. And if you address this, so you can have a better brain health. Um, Generally speaking, there's lots of new research coming 2020, 2021, 2025 on around the gut health, thyroid gland specifically. You mentioned about the thyroid Hashimoto disease, yeah,
Yeah.
thyroid gland function. Some researchers, like uh, Daniel Hofring, yes, he's used lights over the gland itself, but
Mm.
very gently. And first of all, he proved that there is no ill effect from this light exposure. And this is big because now we know it's safe. Number
Yeah.
two, the dose, of course, you need to know how much. But number two, what in his research he showed that when you stimulate with light, either front of the thyroid gland or the back of thyroid gland, you can improve the vascularization or blood flow in the gland. And this gland is energy hungry because it's really active in your whole metabolic
The
processes. Yes.
thyroid you're speaking of?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
improves blood flow. So it help with people with lower nitric oxide in a way too.
Yes. And absolutely that. And also because when you have a good blood supply, then the cell can recover. What people don't understand, that for the cells to recover, they need energy, oxygen, and a good supply of that blood because it delivers all the nutrients and take the waste away. So this is three element absolutely crucial for the recovery.
So with the detoxification, liver, bile flow, drainage pathways, we always talk about opening phase 3, the drainage pathways first before doing any type of protocol for gut repair, whatnot. We want to make sure the drainage pathways are open, have good flow, but also then give the body the nutrients it needs for liver. What is any benefit of putting the red light on the liver gallbladder region to help people with bile flow or detoxification or anything with liver health?
Again, you're absolutely right, because if you look at every protocol which I created for digestive system, for general wellness, you absolutely must cover liver health. Liver gallbladder is in TCM is a pair of two meridians, they working together. But liver is not only gland to detox your body. Liver's function is absolutely essential for everything. Metabolize or steroids, creating steroids, testosterone, and estrogens. It also coagulative function, liver in synthesis of the vitamins and everything. It's in TCM we call it a queen gland. Queen.
Mm-hmm.
She's just so important.
Yeah.
So when we shine lights, first of all, we energize in mitochondria of the liver cells, and also there are some study actually scientifically proving that this is the case. This is happening to hepatocytes, is the cells of the liver, improve in the function after exposure to red and infrared lights. So it also helps to gallbladder, because gallbladder is basically a sac which accumulates bile and then squeeze it so you can digest your fats which you eat. So sometimes gallbladder becomes very tight because it's a sac with muscles. So when you shine light, it actually relaxes, so bile can get through, not be stagnated, and you can have bile production at the right time. When this food you need this. So after digestion, like you say, in the evening you sit watch TV, a little bit TV, and then you put it on the stomach, put it over the liver, and you just assist this digestion after the dinner time, when obviously we have quite a big meal. Most of
Yeah.
people do.
Well, walking or moving 5 minutes or more. I actually don't eat weekdays. We're kind of weird. We just had friends staying with us, and it's funny when you have people staying at your house that you have to explain, well, we don't eat dinner on school nights. I call them work days. We eat about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock because we go to bed at 8 o'clock, and I don't eat 5 hours or after 5 unless a little snack. And then I wake up to go to the gym about 4:30 a.m. So when you have someone entering in your lifestyle and see your schedule, like, okay, we're not normal people. We do things a little differently and have a schedule, but it's more, the evening time to help repair and help is being health optimizers and prioritizing our health and our quality of sleep and being able to recover correctly and doing everything we can in middle age, as I said, to make sure we bounce back faster and help with our gut health, which is interesting. I just did a stool test, a GI map test a couple weeks ago. So I'm looking forward to see that data. But going back to what you're saying on the dysbiosis research showing how it helps in the gut wall lining. So if we can start with dysbiosis, how does it help? So dysbiosis is the overgrowth of bad bacteria outnumbering the good bacteria. So how can FlexBeam on wherever we would put it on our belly help with dysbiosis? Or you mentioned that.
Yes. First of all, I would want to cite the Camilla Virilli is a researcher, and it's a recent paper, 2021. She was actually talking about the dysbiosis in respect of thyroid gland, but also the in respect of the this disbalance bacteria. And also the Anne Liebert, who also researches photobiomodulation in general, they produced recently paper when they say that there is a particular bacteria, Alabacum bacteria, which regrows. It's a good bacteria. We want it to be there,
Mhm.
but it regrows under using light. When you apply light to the stomach, just within 2 weeks, you already have massive overpopulation of this gut bacteria, which is great for people with dysbiosis. And we need to literally put our focus on providing both nutritionally. We should eat fermented food, and in combination with light, you can get there a lot faster when you use on regular basis as a regime red lights.
So
Um,
it is a garden. I would say your prebiotics having polyphenols, which are related to light, I learned about, and how the colorful colors of polyphenols, how they help feed the good bacteria from light and the connection, and how the bacteria is kind of our garden that we're hosting. And so it is interesting thinking again the analogy of your microbiome as your yard and how we need sunlight to grow the plant. So we're really just doing a greenhouse for our internal microbiome and giving it light to help it grow.
Oh, it's such a beautiful analogy. I really, really like. Now I have visual picture of this rainbow. Uh, my aubergine, you call it eggplants, tomatoes growing, and the sunlight is there.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
funny. I just thought of that. But that's just kind of what you're saying is that we're putting this light therapy over our greenhouse that we're hosting, and that we're helping grow the good guys, but we're not growing. Are we growing the bad guys too when we're doing red light therapy? Just how do you differentiate?
well, you know what we're doing? We actually creating the environment. We're creating the balance. We're creating
Mm-hmm.
the environment favorable for normal
Thrive.
function.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm killing this and I'm growing that. Absolutely not. It just provides that environment because it with improve the energy production. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you, engine of your body. I call stomach or abdomen area as the engine of the body. And then you have your own pharmacy there because
Mm-hmm.
out of food you can synthesize different messengers, neurotransmitters, regulative
Yeah.
peptides of things. And so when you shine light, you improve the also blood flow,
Mm.
you improve the relaxation of these structures in the body. So the whole body goes like, I can now
Mm.
relax, I can function. Because normally what we see nowadays, people all stressed up to their
Yes.
ear.
You're talking my area of focus is the vagus nerve getting out of sympathetic fight or flight. And in order to heal and repair, we need to activate the vagus nerve, strengthen it as a muscle, is of the nervous system, strengthen that vagus nerve so we can be more resilient to help us shift into parasympathetic state so we can heal and repair. So I would think the red light therapy would not be as effective somehow if we were over in that sympathetic trying to do this therapy and if we're not relaxing at the same time. It must be a little different benefits.
Yes, you're right, because light will just give that relaxation, like we talked, because it interacts with the nervous system. It activates vagus as well. Of course, if you place it, for example, over the chest, or I like this two placement when you use it on the side of the neck.
Mm,
And that is exactly where vagus nerve so close to the surface, both
yeah.
sides, and stomach and the chest. And if you do these applications, then you can literally people sleep better. You know how many people wear now Oura rings or Garmin watch, whatever. We see it on the metrics. We see HRV improving. We see the general heart rate improving, or oxygenation, SpO2 improving. We see in the metrics also deep sleep. So deep sleep lengthens, so that the
Mm,
time when your body goes into really deep sleep, where the most restorative health is happening,
Yeah.
it's literally lengthens with red light and particularly flex beam.
I have not been wearing my Aura ring anymore. I stopped a year half ago or so. So I'm not tracking anything. It's kind of nice because it gets so obsessive. And I started to pay attention like to people wearing devices and myself, and my husband, that we got so dependent on first thing in the morning, let's sync our phone to our Garmin or your Apple or Aura or Whoop, whatever you're wearing, and then see what the results were. And that will determine how my day is going to be. It's like, wait, do your
Yeah.
own body scan and be intuitive and connect with your own self to decide how you're going to feel that day. And I think it's all the devices as Aura Ring have really created awareness to people of their quality of sleep. But I am actually sleeping great and creating my routine. Now I know, don't have alcohol, don't eat close to bed, have movement in the evening and watch the sunset and have this FlexBeam session in my stretching and my journaling and all this other stuff that I don't need to look at a sleep score, but I can't really, there is good purpose for it when you're trying to see is something changing my nervous system and my numbers are better, but it is also good to just go back to old school nature and just to ask yourself, how do I feel today?
Well, I think you're right. This everything has own place, yes, and obsessive behavior about the gadgets, I also don't approve. I think in your case, you already came to the point when you kind of understand your wellness. You apply this every day, and you in control of that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
there are some people who may be in the process of getting
Yeah.
better,
Then you need
and
it.
then you do need it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, Going back, a few more questions on the research. Hashimoto's. I know I was listening to the science of it. Dr. Ruscio did a whole podcast or two on it, on the studies with the red light on the thyroid and how are they testing in the, I didn't read the studies, but is it the Hashimoto's antibodies decreasing? So looking at data to see, is this making a difference? We want to see numbers as we're talking about sleep scores, but when we're looking at these gut issues, how do we know it's working, specifically thyroid antibodies or thyroid markers?
Yes, yes. You do need to have the thyroid panel, and you need to look at everything. You need to look TSH with the thyroxine stimulating hormone release. Um, you need to look at all sorts of you need to look at your active thyroxine and inactive thyroxine. I actually normally work with a Nordic lab. We do also vitamin D assessment levels,
Mm-hmm.
selenium, iodine, and
Mm-hmm.
also metals, the whole things together.
Yeah.
And thyroxine antibodies are very important because it will tell you how um, how much self-inflammation or destruction is happening, because when you release these antibodies, they actively destroy thyroid gland. So research, Daniela Hoflings, who I already quoted, this research shows that when you use red light, then it's actually what you see is that the people who are on levothyroxine, their hormone replacement, synthetic hormone, start using less of this drug, and
Mm-hmm.
actually even show that you can actually, stop that dependency just simply by using correctly in the right dose red light.
Mm-hmm.
So I
So
think that was really surprise, eye-opening study for me. I just literally was fascinated to read this.
what what's the protocol? I know a certain depth that the near, is it level one on there? It's like 660 or
Yeah,
800 or something. What's the measurement for it?
I recommend with FlexBeam, I recommend to use program 2 because it's got both red, which is between 610 and 650 nanometers, and infrared between 800 to 850 nanometers. Any of these wavelengths good because it's a wavelength of absorption in mitochondria.
Mm-hmm.
And I normally recommend first for people to use it at the back of the neck.
Mm.
Yes, on program 3. But when you come to the front, you can use program 2, but only start with 2 minutes and then gradually increase to 5 minutes. And
Okay.
it's a little distance. And absolutely, you must also to use it on the stomach. It's
Now we
absolutely.
must tell people though, they can, if they get the FlexBeam, they can sign up for our secret inner circle, and you have all these protocols for us. So people that are like, wait, what do I do? You can join the FlexBeam website. What is it called? We have their inner circle secret page.
Yes, it's our community, and we have a huge number of people in our community. So you can actually ask other people to say, how did it go with your
Mm-hmm.
experience? And lots of people actually contribute, especially when they conquer something big. If they say, well, now my thyroid gland is functioning, this is big, yes.
Yes.
And they put out this message. But also on this platform, on the circle, we call it membership platform, we have all the different protocols. I developed over 80 now protocols
Wow.
that just to support, just to give people instructions how the best. And of course, it's a suggestion, it's not set in
Yes.
stone, but it helps people to start and using it more efficiently. And
Mm.
then we put their webinars, we put their podcasts, so they just knowledge sharing place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Okay, so we did thyroid, and there's research links I can just try to add. Now, you talked about dysbiosis in the microbiome. We talked about that and the gut lining repair. So, if we are using this, do you have information on how it actually works to repair? Is it the mucosal lining, the glycocalyx lining? How are we repairing it?
It's a good question. I mean, once people understand fully about light, they would understand that when light goes through the skin and through the different layers, which we have subcutaneous, adipose tissue, which is like fatty tissue, connective tissue, which makes out of collagen, there, which is also like your part of musculature, yes, and then you get to the even to the bone and of course blood vessels, all of them, every single cell, when this beam goes through this, will receive photons. So
Wow.
when the cell receives photons, it starts spinning the engine motor of making more and more ATP, adenosine triphosphate. They are molecules of energy which cell uses for whatever function it performs. So
Mm.
you cannot really isolate and say, oh, we just selectively use this.
Yeah.
It literally the whole body would benefit, and you definitely see impact on mucosa, you definitely see impact on relaxing the actual gut, and this willies of the mucus willies functioning better because they get more energy, they get more circulation, and the bloating as a result, because bloating comes with the food when food is being stuck too long in that
Mm-hmm.
part of the colon or intestine, and then it starts fermenting. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
so that bubble will just, bloat your stomach, and
Yeah.
you look at yourself thinking, oh my God, something is wrong with me. Yes, it's wrong because food shouldn't be staying that long in your gut. So it helps to
Move.
eliminate smell and also reabsorb goodness after food you eat.
Well, that goes into my other question to follow up on the stomach organ, because I talk frequently on this show about being fit and healthy from the inside out at a cellular level, working north to south. So we talked about the vagus nerve. Digesting food properly starts in the head, in the brain, and in the mouth, but then it goes into the stomach, the organ. And so many people struggle with right stomach acidity. And so many people are on these PPIs, antacids, which I did research on. We're only supposed to be prescribed for 2 weeks to 2 months, not for 20 years. And so looking at how people can heal, or rather repair, improve their stomach organ itself. Could the red light therapy help with the stomach and the lining, and help it improve function?
Yes, yes. Of course, we understand now how it works. It will be beneficial. But I wanted to also contribute and tell you how many patients I have who on omeprazole, on this drug, and like you say, forever. And I'm like, you can't take it forever. It's really
No.
not good for you. Um,
No, but
so the,
I'll throw in there real quick. I looked it up. What did the FDA approved it? FDA approved all these different drugs. I looked it up and it was 2 weeks. And so all these people that have unknowingly updated their prescription and renew it every time, that they had no clue because no one taught them anything. Same thing getting their gallbladder taken out and what your gallbladder actually does. That you have to get off of it and you can't stop taking it. You have to wean off of it and it could take months. So, anyways, that's a pet peeve. Sorry, I had to throw that in there, but it's just what can we do to help people function at optimal level with innate intelligence, getting everything working the way it's supposed to without the damage from medications.
yeah, you're right, because we should have informed consent. Yes, we take medication, we should be informed. I always Google, side effects to make sure I understand intellectually what's happening
Yeah.
in my body, what's the interaction between different drugs. But going back to acidity, often the acidity happens because remember we started conversation saying how people
Yeah.
they lead stressful life.
Mhm.
And guess what? When you in stress, the body goes into this like fighting mode. Yes, so every muscles become tight,
Mhm.
and literally your esophagus, your stomach, they become tense and tight. Yes, and in this position, there is a valve between esophagus and stomach, and this valve become too tight, and it's not covering the properly that opening. So part acidity is flushed into esophagus because of this compression on the stomach. Yes, and what's happening? There is no high acidity, and very often, because it's a chronic stress, it leads to lowering acidity in the stomach, and then valve becomes like a flap. It's not blocking, and when acid gets into esophagus, which could pH of the alkaline compared to stomach where is acidic pH, it creates sense of burning, unpleasant burn. So heartburn is really in many cases because of low acidity, and then you start taking omeprazole and you bring it even down. How could it be good? Yes. So if we understand the behind the stress, behind the tension, so you can just put a light over the esophagus area, front, excuse me,
Yeah. Laying it
front,
just through the, are
and
you
when
hitting it anything specifically? Are you just trying to from
because
esophagus?
yeah, you fall on the esophagus, and
Okay.
one of the module will be at the level of the valve of the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And the light, when it penetrates it will help to relax the muscles and
Mm-hmm.
energize. So all is going well. And gradually, day by day, week by week, gradually you can restore normal function and even normal acidity. But of course, I wouldn't say it's only FlexBeam's job. Yes, you need to do some other therapies, some other therapeutic approaches.
Mm. Any examples of what else you would have someone do for that?
Um, I found that the slippery elm,
Slippery
uh,
elm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, would
Yeah.
help you because it's kind of coating it
Mm-hmm.
immediately for the immediate relief.
Yeah.
I also use in my practice neurostimulation device, which work with the nervous system also to relax the messages going to the valve, so the valve working properly.
Is that a
And
vagus nerve stimulator?
it's stimulating, yes,
Mm.
yes, yeah. And it also helps to relax all the muscles. And remember, there is also what also plays a role is the diaphragm. Diaphragm
Mm.
anatomically separates chest from the abdomen, and the whole hiatus in the diaphragm, it's just where the stomach goes into esophagus. Sometimes when we too tense, too tight, the diaphragm blocks that esophagus opening and physically reduce the flow of the food and fluids between stomach and esophagus. So need to look holistically at those things.
Yeah. So that's a kind of good segue into the next question is what to stack, how to stack things, habit stacking. So speaking of using this, say in the evening, what I have parasympathetic oil I can put on my neck or lymph flow, and I have fascia flow from Vibrant Blue Oils from Jody Cohen, my friend's company. It's having those oils, essential oils, putting the FlexBeam on the different regions you're speaking of, but working on nasal breathing, box breathing, 4-7-8 breathing. What kind of stacking would you suggest in your protocols if we're specifically working on digestion, gut health, and leaky gut repair?
What you describe is really good. In addition, you could do, of course, nutritional. You need building blocks. So you need the right proteins intake. You need, vitamins. I always look at the most essential vitamin D, especially in the winter. Yes, vitamin C, all the B, vitamin B, fish oils, whatever is necessary. Yes, probiotics. I love natural probiotics like sauerkraut or in Russia we use gherkins from the barrel and they ferment it and it's a part of the, almost every day. But anything, whatever is fermented, it's your good natural probiotics. Another thing I would suggest for stacking is to listen to music. I work with Denise Lester. She wrote beautiful music in 432 hertz, which is in synchronicity with the whole body vibration. And it's just like sound therapy on the top of it. You have just have it like 10 minutes in the evening. It's a me time when you can just listen to music, relax, put red lights, and meditate a little. Yeah, meditate is just empty your head because in the end of the day, I'm really convinced they're fundamentally that stress, sometimes unconscious stress, it's driving all these conditions.
Yeah. I've said that for years. I got my chronic stress disease, I call it, in 2013. And so I started learning about heart rate variability about 2012. I think with Ben Greenfield, we did a superhuman coach program back then, and we started diving into heart rate variability. And ever since then I had my health issues, March 2013, around there when I had my body and everything kind of went chaotic. But it's more that my journey is working with people that your avatar clients are people that have chronic stress and how chronic stress impacts everything. And as I wrote my book, sharing my own personal story, was it is called Life is Not a Race, It Is a Journey, and how I see everybody impacted by chronic stress, whatever it might be in their world, but how it all impacts us similarly. Just you create metabolic chaos, we say. And now my job is to help people understand what to do for you, a unique individual, to restore metabolic harmony, the opposite of metabolic chaos, and bring your body so all the moving parts and players can work together and create the symphony so it has this beautiful operation to improve our future self. And I think you can't out supplement the lifestyle habits and how important these habits are, because I think so many people don't want to do the work. They still want that magic pill to help them and just like, I'm going to take all these supplements. Yes, but it's not going to work unless you put it with the nutrition, the sleep hygiene routine, the stress management routine, with the sunlight and time in nature and the breath work and movement throughout the day. And I think we get so reliant on, I'm going to take all these longevity supplements or this mitochondria supplement. We forget order of operations. Let's restore health at a cellular level, but you have to work on actually changing how you live, which is why I am here, not in Seattle.
I think everybody should read your book. It's seriously, it's exactly you speak in my language because with every single patient. For me, it's education, education, education. And once people first become aware that they need to change lifestyle, they do, and especially if they become aware that this particular aspect of their life causing this particular problem, then they're much more willing to change it.
Mm.
And another thing, I always speak with them with really positive in terms of hope, because sometimes I see people, like you said, they've been given advice, oh, take this, take that, and they taken it, they don't see any improvement, and they're lost, and they think, oh my God, am I ever gonna be better? And very often that psychological burden can also create unconscious stress, because you have to be willing to get better, you have to be
Yeah.
willing to enjoy, what you describe as your lifestyle. You you want this, you want wake up early, you want introduce all these elements, sunlight into your life, you welcome in it. But for some people who in a dark place, it's not really the case, so they need a guide. So they need to read your book.
So I appreciate that. What can we do to get a FlexBeam? I want people to take advantage of the time of year. It's as we're recording this, it's November, and we know the Black Friday specials start, I think, the entire month everywhere. But how affordable this is and how important it is, again, to invest in tools for improving your health as you age, I think is a priority for me. So, as I always like the analogy is, you're putting money away in your 401k every month. Why don't we leave some of that for our health building protocol, our future you?
Well, to start with, I want to share that the Flex Beam came out of desire to help humanity. Seriously, this is my mission. And I wanted to have people at home a piece of energy which they
Yeah.
can use every day. They can share between different members in the family. And they can use it for all sorts of variety of things. And now having over 4,000 members who telling me it works on this and that, and literally on so many things. Why not to have something which is um, clearly does goodness for you, and you use it as a regime, and you share with the granny can use, or the kid who can have an injury can use it, and it's really really helpful. Plus, the second conscious decision was for me as a co-founder of the company is to stick with the affordable price. The device is really good, and it could have been sold at a lot more. I see the panel are sold at certain amounts, but I always think of people how they can afford, and this is in my view, it's an affordable range.
Yes.
You can put this sort of money aside, and you can have it. And you also given really generous, 60, like 2 months you can use it, and if you don't like something about it, you can return.
Mm.
That's how we're confident that will be helpful to you. So I think red light is, once you understand what it can do for you, it's absolutely amazing, necessary tool in your life.
How long does it take to help heal or repair? Heal is kind of a strong word, but repair your digestive health. We're talking about the different areas today. How long do you have to use it? How many times a week? What's kind of a standard protocol? Summarize all the different ones.
Yeah, general protocol would be to use it either every day. In this case, you can use it 5 days a week and a couple of days off. So it's giving you time to assimilate that energy. Or for really sensitive individual, you can use it every other day, and then just continue. I would say the minimum would be 1 month. So 4 weeks you need to use, because typically this gut problem is not from one incident, it's not today. It's something you've been, yeah, like you say, it's a lifestyle. You're eating certain thing, and people tend to eat the same thing over and over and over. Introduce the variety, get get the rainbow on the plate, and and use it in combination with light. then you're going to get results quicker. But
Mm.
in average, I would say between 1 to 2 months, you definitely see the difference.
Yeah, I think it's consistency is a key and sticking with it long enough to feel difference. Because a lot of people use something for a week or two, like, this doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. I don't feel anything. And I don't really feel anything. That's why I like to see, all right, if I did my thyroid panel every 3 months or 4 months, I get my labs done to see improvement when I'm trying to do different things as that, or, looking at a GI map test, if I do it twice a year or once a year, that you can see improvements. But it is knowing that it takes time. It's not something the next day. Same with acupuncture, you're not going to feel it if it's doing something or not right away. You just overall, it feels a shift in your health.
Yes, of course, because we are living creatures. We're not robots, aren't we? And
Yeah.
there are days you do everything by the book, and there are days when you don't. But as long as generally you provide what body needs, fundamental bricks, energy, and also relaxation to work with your nervous system, I think you're gonna recover.
Yeah, the vagus nerve, I think, is so fascinating. It kind of comes into every conversation I have on every episode. It's just so important part of how we age and how we can improve our health. Because if that's not working, nothing else is going to work, I don't believe, as I learn more. It's a big part of it. So, where can we send people? Can you share the website and any links we want to send people to? We'll put in the show notes.
Yes, very, very simple because our mission is to recharge people's health. Yes. So if you type recharge dot
Health.
health, recharge dot health,
Mhm.
you're gonna get to the website where you can see all the sorts of deals and discounts because, like you say, it's this time of the year. It's actually would be for me. It's a good Christmas present because
Yeah.
I think I gifted all my mother-in-law and you know all their siblings. So
Hmm.
my personal website is drzulia.com, which is drzulia as my first name.com. You can find information there. You can write to me. I see people write to me after podcasts, and I'm very happy to answer your questions and put at least with my knowledge help you to find the right direction in life.
Yeah. Well, you have such a interesting background that we went over in the first episode, but I just think it's your knowledge is so fascinating. And I always love learning from you, and you're always keeping up on all the new science research studies coming out. So I appreciate your being the go-to person on red light therapy for myself.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Yes, and there will be some discounts now because we're in this time of the year.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I'll put the links in the show notes, but I think my code is Coach Debbie Potts if people want to share that or put that into your code when you check out. But I did have a client last year buy one FlexBeam for each member of his family, and his kids are married. And so it is a great gift idea. People are looking for giving the gift of health this season and help people out. So it's a good idea. So thanks so much for your time today and giving us update on how the red light therapy and FlexBeam can help our midsection for our overall health.
Thank you so much, Debbie. I really enjoyed talking today, my favorite subject. Thank you for inviting me.